So this is sprint 3, quickly to address the feedback from last time. Yes, terminate is called automatically within endgame. That's my mistake. It's now been removed. So yeah, moving on to what we had to do this week. If we go into scenes, we can see a massive folder of commands, and we'll get into the rest of it real quick. All of these commands are very similar. They all inherit from the scene command base, which has execute. If we go look at this one, point a draw, and then execute, which simply registers that command through the attorney. The only exception is going to be alarm register, which also has void change time. This is because if we go up to look in alarmable, we need time from the user, submit alarm registration, and then we also need time to give to the map via alarm registration. And I'm simply storing that time in the command and then passing it through. I hope that's an acceptable solution. Anyways, since we're here to talk about the game objects, they're all very similar. We have a registration state, the two commands, and then an iterator reference. The only two public commands are going to be the submit alarm registration and deregistration for the user. Everything else is handled through the friend class of its attorney. Go into the CPP, we can see reg state, creating the commands, and then we have cert reg state, do the thing we need, and change the registration state. At the end, we delete our commands, and everything is fine and dandy. So, drawable, very similar. Updatable, very similar. If you go into the attorneys, you can see we are only giving the things that need access to those functions access. So, drawable manager only has access to draw. The commands only have access to those. And the same as for them all. Something similar for resource managers, we're only giving them terminate. So, for example, within model manager, the user can't accidentally call terminate because it's not even public. Cool. Neat. We love that. If we go into the scene managers, alarmable manager, process alarms, register, deregister, has lots of usings for convenience so that we don't have to keep typing everything out. Alarmable manager is a little more in-depth because we do have to change the total time that the user passes in, and we have to compare that with the time within our little map. So we go through, see if the time is, if it's time to call it. If it is, we trigger the alarm and then remove it from our little map. And if we go into drawable manager, it's much simpler. We simply loop through the entire list and call draw on everything. No exceptions, and same with update. So if we go back to the scenes, not the commands, if we go into scene manager, we can see that again, we have things in private. Only to public stuff is to set the start scene. Everything else is handled through the attorney, and it all goes to the game.cpp as it is generally. Scene base also has something similar with the submit command, register, deregister. The only things that are open are initialize, update, draw, scene end, yada yada. I'm not even sure if those should be public, but I don't know where I should hide them and who should have access to them, so they're staying public for now. If we go into the attorney, we can see that every class gets its little sharing, and we are sharing submit command multiple times, but it's better than sharing it to the user and having something go terribly, terribly wrong. So finally, let's run our code. As you can see, we have an alarm set up on the frigate so that every second we simply have a little alarm went off notification, and then it re-registers itself as a continuous loop. And finally, just to show that we can also remove ourselves, updatable submit scene deregistration. So now, after 3 seconds, we will no longer be able to move at all. Yada yada, can't move, no matter what I do. So now, finally, same goes for drawable. So submit draw deregistration. And as you can see, as you've probably seen, we have debug message out moving forward whenever we press the W key. So yada yada, 3 seconds pass, and if we press W, we still get moving forward, so it's still updated. And that is everything for this sprint.